Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from Everyday Guy, Redonkulous Guy, and welcome back to the letter. So in the last episode, we chose to be kind to Rebecca, considering, she had bruises all over her body, and we asked her what happened, and she told her that Ghost attacked her, and since not only her, every one of us got attacked, we kinda decided to finally sit down and discuss about finding a way out of this whole situation. We tried, they tried, and nothing really came out of it. We were just spent a whole lot of time but came nothing out of it. And after that, even with all of us being in the same room, Ghost attacked us, which was really surprising and crazy, and we managed to escape her. And then the whole night went. Them, I guess, woke up and tried to not sleep because she would come, and then the next day things got more uglier, considering, I guess, due to lack of sleep, they got really frustrated and started playing the blame game, and things got really bad between Rebecca and Isabella. Really, really bad. I wonder if our relationship with the arcs in Isabella and Rebecca would have been bad. I wonder if it had been really bad in this arc though. I don't know, but it would probably had. I thought so, but we managed to stop that fight for a while. Ash stopped it, and then we came to this bar where I don't know. I guess he tried to take a rest and try to calm himself and find a way out, and the way out, the only thing that we are left with is the fact that we all know what it was, man. I even called it the mansion. Only thing that we have to do now is go to the mansion, because that's the only place, and the place where definitely we can get something related to stuff going on with us about the past of the ghost and these things that is going on with us. Let's see how it will go. But before we ended last time, we were on this choice where you will only get in the way, or I'd feel better if I don't have to worry about you, which is kind of like you just don't come with us, only in short. But one of them is rude, one of them is good, and it's very difficult. I'm still so confused as to which one to pick up, but I think both of them are kind of alright only, but I will choose. I'd feel better if I don't have to worry about you. Both of them sound good and bad, but the thing is, in what context he will say it is the fact that worries me a lot. So I guess I will choose you will only get in the way, considering if he explains in the way that I am armed and professional with it. So let's see, let's hope. There are only two ways this will end. I agree with him and take him with me, or I agree with him and drop the idea altogether. Neither appeals more than the other, especially when we are all desperate for answers. So a lie, to keep the few I have left out of harm's way.
You'll only get in the way.
Oh, that expression is not good. Understandably, his expression swiftly changes from worry to indignation. Perhaps he's even livid. What I'm not expecting is for him suddenly grab me by the collar and hoist me from my seat. Sometimes I forget Zach's capable of violence as any other man, but I hold my ground, remain firm in my decision. This is no longer up for discussion.
I dare you to say that again, Ash.
See, this is what I...
Say it again. Say it to my face.
Do I look like I'm kidding? I'm not going in there for a stroll, Zach. And if what you heard is true, then it's just another reason for me to look into it and for you to stay here. I can't take you with me just because you asked. That isn't how this works.
How does it go then? How is this any different from what you've been telling us not to do?
You didn't listen to me when I explicitly, very explicitly, told you not to do anything stupid. How can you expect that I'll trust you with this when you couldn't even follow a simple instruction like that?
Stop it with your bullshit, Ashton. I know this ain't just about that. You trusted me with even more confidential stuff before. More than you did with Rebecca. What makes this any different now, huh? Is accepting other people's help that difficult for you?
It's not your help that I need right now, Zach. It's...
It's knowing that you are safe. Yeah, I understand, but oh man, I knew it would go in this direction, considering this is the exact same thing. I was like, both of the situation were giving me this vibes only. But let's see how worse can this go. Away from whatever risk I'm about to jump into. Sadly, the whole of it never makes it out. G chooses the next moment to show up, slamming the flat of his palm on the counter and shooting us both a stern look. Although his tone's nothing short of jovial, the disapproval's clear in it.
Boys, drummer's nice and all. I used to watch these bloody god-awful afternoon serials with one of my brothers many, many years ago. But listen, I am not having one in my pub, alright? You two want to fight? Go out.
Zach's hold on me loosens in acquiescence, and like every little truth I hold, whatever I'm about to say dies on my tongue at G's reprimands. In the end, I'm just a coward who can never bring myself to be honest. I'd like to think it's better this way. Better that we part on unclear terms so Zach won't have to see every little insecurity, every little doubt in me right now. He's seen enough. The last thing I want him to glimpse is another display of weakness. Not when he still stares at me with the same unerring confidence in his eyes. Before anything can be said further, before more wounding words are uttered, I step away from them, mumbling a lame excuse about taking another quick nap under my breath, altogether bearing the stray thought that flashes fleetingly in my head. Zach has seen me at my lowest plenty of times. Why does all of it matter now? The sun hangs lower when I stumble back into consciousness and drag myself downstairs. Downstairs. Around this time, the patrons usually start to trickle into the main lounge until it reaches a peak around midnight. Today, however, it remains thin. But considering what day it isn't too worrisome for the kind of business G runs. He has always complained about the lack of a decent crowd on week start, although he doesn't really begrudge his customers for it. No one wants to start the week with a bad case of a hangover after all, even him. Which makes the concerned look he gives me come off a bit too odd. The kind of danger we are in, this swiftly puts me on the edge, even before sleep completely fades from my mind.
Something wrong, G?
G hums, but there is an undertone of annoyance in it despite his casual and open movements. And only after he finishes wiping a tumbler and carefully settles it face down on the table does he give me an answer. The way he stares back at me honestly makes me squirm. It feels like I'm being stared down by my primary school teacher for slipping in class again.
Nothing much. Monday's still a slow day for this place. But you might want to check on your friends, kid. Looks like one of them woke up on the wrong side of the bed while you were out.
Another question forms in my head along with a small confused frown. But though before a single syllable slips past my mouth, Rebecca's irate voice rings out from some part of the main lounge. From the sound of it, it appears woke up on the wrong side of the bed is a complete understatement.
Alone? You know we can't just go in there. But we don't have any other choice, Becca! There's really no other way. We have to go there. If you'll just... Isabella, no.
That doesn't sound too comforting. Once Rebecca assumes that kind of tone in an argument with Isabella, it usually ends with one of them walking out or both giving the other the silent treatment. It lasts for about a week at most if it's really bad, which really isn't what we need right now, definitely not. I have hoped the bad blood from this morning will simply blow over after all of us has gotten a decent rest. I should have expected it won't be as easy when my little talk with Zach this morning almost turned into a fist fight. Turns out sleep isn't just what some of us need. Even G appears to understand it. In spite of his efforts to look as unconcerned as possible, there's a tense set on his shoulders. A nervous edge lingers in his eyes as it occasionally flickers over where Rebecca and Isabella's voices are coming from. He doesn't want to deal with this, especially at the start of another busy week. Neither do I. Things have worked out well between them before without Zach or I met them. but the imploring gaze she directs at me leaves me with no other choice. It almost feels like he's guilting me into doing something about it. I hate that it's working.
You know how I run this pub, kid. No fist fights, no cat fights, only good booze, bad puns, and off-key singing. Go fix it before it blows up in your faces. I'd hate to throw two girls out of this place over a petty argument.
It's probably not as petty if Rebecca's already shouting like that, but I give him a nod nevertheless.
Sorry about this, G.
He hums something under his breath for an answer and waves me off, turning away and returning to his work without another word. Even with the lack of sizable crowd, he likes to keep busy. We are the same in that regard. Can't remain still, always has to stay moving, do something, thinking, whatever keeps the brain at work. I leave him to it shortly after. Rebecca's voices ring out once again, followed by Isabella's. But the part of me wants to thank him for all the trouble he has taken for people he barely even knows. Once this is over, I should probably find some way. In the meantime, I have this immediate problem to fix. Gotta get to this before it turns into crazy storm if both of them will regret. And I know both of them will. For all of Isabella's complaints about Rebecca's bossy attitude, or how annoying Rebecca sometimes finds the other child's demeanor, it's a friendship they both cherish in their own way. Yeah. Let's hope it gets fixed. And I feel like I gotta have to make a choice. Let's see. Rebecca's already on her feet when I spot them in an almost deserted area of the pub. I'm willing to bet my entire life savings that people are staying away only because of the brewing storm. Rebecca can have quite the mood when she's crossed. I can't speak for Isabella, I rarely ever see her seething, but from what I've heard, it can be very unpleasant. The way she's glaring up at the redhead from her seat, regardless of how much the other woman towers over her right now, already says everything. Empty plates have been left neatly piled on one corner of the table they occupy, a conversation that turned sour sometime after a late lunch then. It's always after eating the food. Good thing they are already done and nothing's left to be spared. Oh my god. Oh, talk about this being a horror game. Things like this are scaring me much more than the ghost and jump scares of her. Especially from Rebecca. Again from Rebecca. Because in the next moment, before I can approach and intervene, Rebecca slams her palm on the table. It sends the silverware clanging sharply against the surface. Isabella flinches momentarily, we both do, though she shows no indication of surrendering in the face of Rebecca's temper. Everything escalates from there.
You've already gotten us in enough trouble because of this let a ghost everything.
You're blaming me again?
And you can't expect everyone to fix your mess. You keep on putting the blame on me, but you're the one who didn't listen. All of you. If you just listened in the first place, maybe this wouldn't have happened.
But I guess now nothing can be done, so how about concentrating on what's on hand? How about that?
But you're too busy acting like you know what's best for everyone, when in fact you're the one who's being selfish. I'm the one who's selfish, yet you're still going to do what you want anyway, even if the people around you are already beside themselves with worry. This is how you've always acted since we met, and I'm tired of it. Sometimes I wish you never even came here, because all you've given us is a headache. You know why I had to come here. My dad. Your dad has nothing to do with this. It has always been you and your whiny, careless self that has always been the problem.
Okay, she's going a little too far. Maybe I should have stepped in earlier, yeah. Maybe I should have said something the moment Rebecca has slammed the flat of her hand on the table, or the second I have entered the area. Either way, it's too late to act. Harsh words have already been hurled between the two. Words more cutting than any blade, each and every one of it digging a hole too deep in the person they have been aimed at. For a long time, Isabella sits there in silence, while Rebecca stands unmoving, arms crossed and breathing heavy. Despite the lack of words between them, they are both vibrating with anger, refusing to meet the other's eyes. Ever so slowly, the atmosphere in the room turns thick and smothering. The strained air no one in the immediate vicinity, including me, dares to break until the one at its center does so. Rebecca definitely won't. At some point in our friendship, she has grown to become a woman firm with her opinions. She's never going to back down from this, not when she knows she has a point. Isabella, on the other, there always has been a certain stubbornness in her. As frustrating as it is to see sometimes, it's what has gotten her through life's hardships. Perhaps even the only thing that has, when you have nothing else. People tend to cling on to what they have within themselves instead. But she also knows when to withdraw when a struggle turns useless, a kind of awareness almost second nature to her. When enough is enough, Isabella abruptly stands and marches towards the exit, in fast, rigid steps, away from the hurt and painful words they have left fly earlier. She bumps into me in her haste, the impact nearly knocking her off her feet. Knocking her off her feet, yeah. Instinct kicks in at the last moment and I reach out for her, grabbing her arm in a steadying grip. Surprise flits across her face, an expression mirrored by Rebecca behind her. Neither of them have noticed me. However, that doesn't mean I won't have things to say about this. Told you! Alright, after listening to the conversation and just what I said like a couple minutes ago only, Rebecca went a little too far with Isabella, considering she doesn't even know the fact that, her father died and then she only means well, and the fact that she is doing this blame game is so lame considering nothing can be done about it at all, and she is also going for the same option as us. The mansion is the only place where we gotta have to go to find the answers for whatever is going on, cause yeah, if we have not found anything yet, then that's the only place where it all started and is where we should go. So let's take Isabella's side, yeah.
Okay.
Rather than hunt her once her shock subsides, she merely averts her gaze and hastily wipes the tears off her cheeks, like she only noticed them in that moment. Then, without another word or even meeting my eyes again, she gently brushes away my hand and runs off, leaving an awkward hush in her wake. Rebecca soon slumps on the chair Isabella has just left, gingerly reaching up to press the bridge of her nose and breathing out a ragged exhale. Arguments like this have always drained both her patience and energy, usually more than her rowdy students do, despite being no stranger to it. It's no excuse for her to say those things, though, and my disapproval must be clear enough on my face. When she finally glances back at me, her exhaustion immediately shifts back to annoyance, her mouth curving down to a taut frown tight. Okay, now I cross my arm in response, waiting, a reaction verging on instinctive in the face of her irritation. Regardless of my opinions about this, I don't say anything yet, not until she is the one willing to talk. Another minute passes while we stare each other down, but eventually she breathes out again and relaxes her rigid posture.
What do you want, Ash? If you have something to say, just tell me, or I'm going back upstairs.
Did you really have to say it like that?
Well, how do you want me to answer her? Do you want me to just let her go there and do what she wants? I know you won't be too happy if I did that.
That's a low blow, Rebecca. Even for you. We all know she wasn't even planning on staying here this long. There was no need to bring it up if all you wanted to do was stop her.
Did you even see how she's acting? She's not a child anymore. Even my students can do better.
Becca, she'll listen if you'll just ask her properly. I know you mean well and you do have a point, but please be a little more thoughtful next time.
Yeah.
Go think about it for a while.
By some miracle, the whole discussion ends right there. Rebecca elects to stay silent, or at least it's how it seems when a minute or two passes and she says nothing. A rare occurrence when she almost always has something on her mind. Only an uneasy atmosphere hangs in the air when I finally decide to remove myself from the room. She doesn't stop me. Instead, something inexplicable flickers momentarily in her eyes, one that quickly disappears until only a vague notion of it remains in memory. But in that one exchange, I've caught a short, clear glimpse of what has shifted, of what's inevitable. So much has changed throughout the years. We'll never be the same person we once were. And if it's for the better, we have yet to know. Oh. That? I don't know if it went bad or good, but I would say it was alright considering I'm pretty sure if we would have chosen Rebecca's side, it would have gone way crazy. A lull has descended in the main lounge once I return. G is nowhere to be seen. People continue to trickle out instead of in, and by the time I get back, only 2 tables remain occupied. Soon these people too will be gone, and the whole place will be devoid of anyone. Frankly, its current state already lends the place an entirely different vibe. Along with the soothing strum of strings and the steady beat of drums playing overhead, there's a calming sense to this. A far cry from times I have been here before. It's for this reason why Isabella has chosen this place to retreat. She sits quietly in the furthest corner of the room, in one of the tables set right beside the windows. She usually keeps the curtain closed around this hour, but a small portion of it has been pulled back, revealing the busy streets outside. The late afternoon light spills right through it, outlining her small form and pulling on the surface of the table where both her arms rest. Oh no. In her hands, she flips a piece of folded paper, turning it from one side to the other without any purpose. The letter. A small frown creases her forehead while she stares at it, yet there's something oddly tranquil in the picture she has unknowingly painted. Something I can't bring myself to disturb, if only for a few seconds. It's one of those moments again. The rare ones. The ones where she is too still, too quiet, a complete opposite of her usual self. But it's this that often leave a mark. Not her cheery disposition or her lively attitude, but this short few seconds of wordless silence when the softest sigh and the slyest movements sing louder. Slightest. The smallest minuscule things that tell you about the person and her strength more than any words can express. It's this that carve a vivid memory no matter how brief it lasts. She glares at me, annoyed, and just like that, all of it melts away. Gone is the stillness, replaced quickly by the teasing and friendly jibes. Back again to what we are used to, what's easy, what's familiar, where every truth we hope to convey regrettably goes unsaid between us.
You're going to destroy an important piece of evidence if you keep doing that, Belle.
But she's far from angry. A bit upset, maybe. Who wouldn't be? While I do agree with Rebecca, her words still hit below the belt. They do, definitely. Regardless, Isabella doesn't seem like she will start shouting at me, at least compared to every other person I've aggravated, intentional or otherwise. Some light talk may just do the trick and coax her out of this mood.
Come on. If you keep staring at the table like that, you're going to bore a hole on it. I really don't want to OG a new table. He'll pick the most expensive one and leave me begging on the streets.
She levels a quick glance at me, her expression dry and impassive, enough to drain every color out of the room. It's as if I've just told her a terrible joke and she's expecting there will be more of it. Really now? She needs to give me more credit than that. My jokes are funny when I want them to be.
And I really don't care. I'd even take pictures and post them online. Go away, Ash. I don't want to talk right now.
Yet it sounds half-hearted at best. Like what's happening has already sapped every bit of energy in her and all that's left are the words. Pretty soon those two will lose their meaning and leave a hollow shell in their wake. It's already unusual to see her like this. Everything has already gone to crap. I'd like at least this one thing to stay normal. So somehow we manage. We continue for the better half of the hour, talking, joking, with her short, feeble responses and banter that never goes anywhere. But it's enough. the grand scheme of things, amidst the chaos and death shadowing over us, it's this little inconsequential, hope I said it right, moments that matter. It's her smile, her laughter when it finally rings easy and free of her burdens.
Okay, I have another one.
I don't want to hear it, Ashton. Go away.
No, really, listen. I know someone who talks like an owl.
Will you leave me alone if I bite and ask who?
A pause. And then she frowns as realization slowly dawns on her. Confusion flashes fleetingly across her face before eventually settling on a grimace.
Oh.
Suddenly she hugs her arms closer to herself and looks away, perhaps in her best attempt to stay angry. To no avail. In a matter of seconds, her shoulders shake with laughter she's trying to contain.
You're awful and I really hate you! Just leave!
It's contagious, her mirth. Soon I'm joining her in it, briefly forgetting every problem that has piled up and continues to weigh down on us. Laughing without reservation or care until only a familiar warmth lingers once both our amusement ebbs away. Somehow with her, these things have always come easy.
Feeling better?
A little. You're still lame.
But what was the joke? I didn't get it. This speaks like an owl.
But you're laughing right now.
Only because your humor is terrible.
Right. Keep telling yourself that. I know it's funny. And you know what? If you've kept frowning like that, your face might have cracked. That would have been really messy and ugly.
If glares can kill, then the one she sends my way, I will probably be dead by now. Seeing it directed my way, it takes only a few seconds for me to realize how she might have also taken my statement. How wrong and rude it might have sounded in her ears, however unintentional it is. I have never been good with words, but that's never an acceptable excuse, is it? Suddenly taking the brunt of her anger seems less complicated than correcting or explaining myself. Nevertheless, I try.
What? Crap. Damn it, that was so not what I meant. I was just saying you look better when you're smiling.
Okay, her glare doesn't even wane. In fact, I think it intensified like the breathing storm. In the face of it, under the sharpness of her glare and her annoyance, I do what any person with a good sense of self-preservation does. Keep my mouth shut and shift my attention elsewhere. The crowd outside looks very interesting today. Maybe I should.
Thanks, Ash.
She utters all of it in a voice too small, too quiet, but when I turn to her, only those words, her gratitude, resonate throughout the whole room. Not the soft clinging of silverware somewhere, not the last strains of music fading into silence above us. Instead, it's the meaning behind her gaze as she holds mine that lingers. Steady, unflinching, and open in the same way she looked at me all those years ago, with bright eyes and an expression softening into a tender smile. I didn't understand it then, how easy it is for her to wear her heart on her sleeve, how she never shies away from expressing herself, even among people she barely knows. How she can go through everything without losing herself. Now it's among the hundreds, the thousands that hang unspoken between us, trivial, little things with words still too big to put into words. Either because it's too early or because there's never really a proper time. For now though, this will do. Until the moment itself dwindles. Until reality pulls us back in, reminding us of the things we have set aside in its favor.
Isabella, about what happened with Rebecca earlier.
I should probably apologize to Becca. I know she only means well. And I said some really bad things.
Corners of her mouth works up almost as if she's too ashamed of the things she said.
Don't worry, she can be pretty stubborn, but she'll listen. Especially to you.
You think?
You're one of the few people she likes. She won't stay angry for long, I can vouch for it.
She has a point though. Isabella freezes in an instant, the pleasant air around us dissipates. She shifts her attention back to her hands again, both clenched so tightly that her knuckles visibly pale.
I know, Ash. I just thought we'd find something in there. That if I go back, we'll get the answers we need. I found the letter there. So maybe, right?
It's not that I don't agree with her. Well, I've been considering the same thing. It's the only lead we have after all, yep. But Rebecca also has a point I always agree with, no matter how desperate I am. It's not going to be a simple walk in the park. Who knows what we might find in there. If she comes with me, I won't be able to guarantee her safety. She will be in even greater danger. Hence, alone. Exactly as I've told Zack. If there's a need to go back to that accursed place, I'm doing it on my own. Whether or not the rest of them agree with this plan is inconsequential. Huh. Their well-being is my top priority. And I'm not just about to drag them in there with me, yeah. So I tell her as much, despite the determination and desperation in her eyes. Anything to keep her safe. Oh, okay, this is again a very tough one. Just like Zack, it's so tough. I mean, well, just like Rebecca, but the choice of words. They both sound the same, but oh man. I think it's dangerous is a little like stupid, considering I would say it's dangerous, and she's like, do I not know about this? Obviously, and I will do anything for my friends, so don't tell me it's dangerous or anything like that. Rather, I would like to go for this one. I can't let you do that, where it kind of shows a little care and concern, even though we mean the same over here, but this one, I feel like it's a better one than this one, so let's go.
I can't let you do that, Belle.
Ash, the people living in that place now, they were with me during the open house. They have to know. They're in as much trouble as we are.
I know, but it's risky. It's dangerous. We don't know what you might find in there. Or if you'll even find anything.
Yeah, we said the same thing, it's dangerous, but in a much better way, instead of just hopping onto the it's dangerous train, yeah.
What if you see her again? What if she goes after you? What are you going to do? For all we know, it might be a dead end. It's not worth it to put yourself in harm's way like that.
She offers no response, not even a form of resistance, no further argument like I've come to expect from her. Uncharacteristic. Just a silence that stretches far too thin till the air in the whole room grows heavy. In front of her, her hands still stays curled up, like it's holding on to everything she wishes to say but can't. I like to think that, yes, to some extent she understands, even if she does not entirely agree with me. The dilemma is clear in her. Otherwise, her scowl wouldn't have a deeper set to it. Her lips wouldn't be pressed in a thin line, or her hand would be no longer be balled into fists. She would have pushed that argument if she doesn't, and I know she has no lack of things to say. Instead, she simply offers a nod. An acquiesce. Yeah, okay, so. And in a moment of boldness, perhaps insolence, I reach out for her, taking her clenched fists in mine and drawing them closer to me. She sucks in a breath, soft and sharp, but doesn't say anything, merely watching as both my hands cradle hers. Cautious, mindful, as if it's the most precious thing I have held. Then again, maybe it is. Along with everything I have yet to convey.
Stop that.
Surprisingly, although the gesture has startled her, she yields, allows a touch that is far too familiar and more than what I'm willing to give most.
You're going to hurt yourself if you keep doing that.
Gently, I unfurl her fingers, flattening out each digit against my palms. Her nails have already created small dents on her fingers, her skin, from how tightly she has held it close. A little more and she would have drawn blood. Deep as it is, smoothing a thumb over the tiny fingers, marks, does nothing. But it's a small gesture we both find comfort in amidst the chaos, and all at once the tension lifts. Her expression softens, the lines of her shoulders ease, and it is only after her lips curve up in a faint smile that I let go. Giving her hand one last squeeze before returning it to her. Part of me wants to tell her, admit that it's exactly what I'm planning tonight. What good will it do though? I've already told Zack, one person is enough. Hell, simply letting someone in on the plan makes me iffy. Broadening the circle and revealing too much would just cause another pointless concern. But someone has to be aware, at least of where I'm heading off to, in case things don't pan out. Accept the worst, even if I have only intended to do a quick survey of the place. In my own words, risky. It's the best that I simply leave it as it is for now. Isabella doesn't need to be burdened with the worry my entire scheme entails. I stand up as soon as footsteps shuffle from the next room, its cadence slow and hesitant. Shortly, Rebecca comes into view, clutching her hands firmly in front of her and sporting the same uncertainty in her face. She casts me a cursory look, then shifts a nervous one to Isabella, who studies her with an almost hopeful gleam in her eyes. Their fights never did last long.
Belle, can we talk? Alone?
Her interruption could not have come sooner, and I'm all the more glad for it. Whatever kind of friendship I share with the two, this remains something for only the two of them, much like my own with Zach. I'm the outsider. They don't need me here. It's all the reason I need. Muttering an excuse and flashing Isabella a quick, knowing smile, I beat a hasty exit out of the main lounge and leave them to mend things on their own. Before Isabella can say what she's been mulling over, before the last imploring glance she directs my way forces me to change my mind. It's another lasting image that firmly etches itself in my memory, one that spurs the conscious among the others. Other things, yeah. I just hope I won't regret what I've chosen for myself tonight. Oh man, let's hope, going there alone is a good choice rather than. Although, then again, unity is good. But I don't know. Let's just see. Although we are not onto the true good route, that's why if things go bad, I will accept it. But let's see, we still have not reached anywhere, or we have not got that great signs to say, hey, we are definitely heading on to a dead end. Let's hope we are not. Galway Shaw's Monday night crowd, although small and barely occupies a quarter of the whole pub, provides ample enough cover for anyone who wishes to leave the place unnoticed. Just exactly what I needed tonight, with the lively music and chatter slipping out mostly unseen, becomes a piece of cake. Without much trouble, soon enough, I find myself standing outside under the chilly Luxembourg night. A gust of wind picks up shortly after I step out, carrying the telltale smell of an impending rain. I'll get about an hour or two before it starts. From the looks of it, tonight will another downpour, maybe even stronger than the one we have had this morning. On instinct, I hunch further into my jacket, hugging its thick material closer to my body while I weave my way through the lines of empty cars in the parking lot. The leather crinkles in my pocket with each step I take, though I pay it no mind as I hurry towards my car. I've nicked it minutes ago from Isabella's belongings on my way out. If this is all connected, I need this damn piece of paper with me. However ridiculous it sounds, I'm quite sure it won't be missed either. But I can't waste time here and wait for her to find out, can I? 4 hours is all I'm giving myself to get this done. Regardless of how generous that is, each second's just as important as the next. So I hurry, one footstep over the other, echoing as I make a beeline for my car. But as with every plan, problems crop up at the last second. It's practically a universal rule. And it does. In the form of a lone figure waiting for me next to my car. Rebecca turns just as I near, corners of her mouth twitching up in a wry smile. She offers no greeting except for a slight tilt of her head. Even as my pace slows and I look at her with all the unvoiced questions in my eyes, she remains wordless, merely throwing her head back and shifting her attention up at the starless sky. When I come to stand beside her, another gust of wind blows as she breathes out a sigh, very thick with something close to resignation. The breeze carries all of it away, while she hugs her arms closer to herself to keep warm, which raises the question why she's out here. The air is already heavy with the promise of rain, with clouds obscuring the view. There's really nothing left to look at but a dark blanket of nothingness. Yeah. Still, she stands here as if she's intentionally waiting for everything to fall. That, or she is here for some other reason. But before I can voice a single word, express a disapproval of any kind, she raises a holding hand at me, sharply cutting off the rest of my question.
I'm not here to stop you. Wherever it is you're planning to go off tonight, I won't be able to anyway. You look like you've already made up your mind.
Go back inside. It's going to rain soon. It'll probably be even heavier than the downpour we had this morning. You wouldn't want to be caught in it.
I will, in a moment. I just want to stay out here a bit for some air, away from the noise inside. Everything's been so chaotic these days. This little break is nice. Even if it means standing in the middle of a parking lot, of all places. Getting out of this mess would definitely be better, but hey, you take what you can get, right?
It'll be over soon.
It will be over soon. Except let's see if it's gonna be over good or bad. The confidence in my own words surprises even me. How do I know? Why am I so sure? When in truth, what I'm about to do is a last-ditch effort. If this fails, if I don't find anything, we are back to square one. It's the last lead I have. After this, we have nothing else to go off from. Regardless, it seems to amuse her, and her laughter soon sounds above the murmur of the distant traffic and the light draft sweeping around us.
How I wish. I'll be content as long as she stops showing up in my mind whenever I close my eyes.
I think that may take some time. The brain doesn't easily forget trauma.
I can try. But, you know, it also did a lot to us.
Tell me about it. The back of my head's still smarting from my fall last night.
Not that kind. I'm talking about us. As people. I hate to admit it, but this whole deal with the ghost, with the curse, it also brought out an ugly side to us. To all of us.
Yep.
And it made me realize plenty of things. About myself. About us.
Rebecca trails off. Suddenly, a pensive expression spreads across her face. I've seen it countless of times before. And every time I see it on her, it's usually followed by a memory, a silly story, or even something embarrassing I've said from childhood. Unlike me, who will much rather forget, she remembers each of them so easily. And after a bout of silence, when she smiles, I know this is one of those times again.
Do you remember that one time, back in secondary?
Which one? We did a lot of dumb things back then. Well, I did, but you get the point.
Mandy.
I thought you still don't like her. Don't tell me you've kept in contact with her. Are you guys friends now or something?
Oh no. We do see each other sometimes. On the way to work or when I go out for lunch, but it's nothing like that. We're not friends. Not in this lifetime. I don't think so. I don't think we'll ever get along, but if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't even be friends, yeah? You stood up for me that day. And from then on, things have changed.
She makes it sound like I'm some sort of a hero. Mandy was in the wrong. Of course I will defend her. If no one's going to stand up for her, who else will? Chances are it would have escalated, and who knows, maybe she would have stopped going to school or transferred. Any decent human being with an ounce of sense should know better. I acted because I know what I'm doing is what's right. It's as simple as that. Yet she smiles as if it's worth more than that. A fondness that goes beyond nostalgia.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is, this time, I don't want this to go unsaid. You know, just in case something happens. Ash, I've always been in love with you.
She says it so plainly, holding my gaze in a voice too frank that her admission stuns me into silence. Like the wind has suddenly been knocked out of me in one fell swoop. Oh my god. Oh, no words will form, not even a single coherent thought, as the meaning of her words bear down on me. Nevertheless, she continues, desperate to express everything she has kept to herself all these years. This is what the fondness is. Why, for her, it weighs heavier than any feelings of nostalgia can carry.
Since that time in secondary, since I made that promise to never leave, I've always truly loved you.
Afterwards, this is a relief. A weight suddenly being lifted off from her shoulders after so long. She closes her eyes and lets out a breath. Good. When she looks back at me, though there's nothing but hope in them, eyes that are searching for an answer. Facing the sincerity behind her words, I find myself grasping, scrambling for the words. Because as much this pains me to admit, I can't give her the same affection she's asking from me. Because, oh man, we might have spent so many years alongside each other. Hell, we practically grew up together. But that never automatically means I will ever hold for her feelings that goes beyond the boundaries of friendship. I do appreciate her presence in my life. I'm more than glad that she has stuck with me even though the toughest moments, even when she finds me difficult or aggravating. However, it's really all there is to it. She's a close, important friend to me, but nothing more.
Rebecca, I
draw in a breath, ragged, unsure, uncertain how and which words to put together. You're gonna give me the choice, aren't you? So it will hurt her less, so the wounds they might leave won't be as deep or scarred. In the end, I can only utter an apology.
really sorry, Becca. I'm glad, I'm happy you feel that way, but I can't. There's already someone that I'm in love with. Someone else.
It takes all of my willpower to force myself to even look at her. For sure there will be hurt, maybe she will even be angry, and I don't hold it against her. And sure enough, when our eyes meet again, her mouth has already settled in a tight line and she assumes a rigid pose. The sharpness to her gaze, but behind it is pain, undeniable searing, something that she tries to hide by hastily looking away and stepping back.
Becca, I know this.
It's all right, Ashton. You don't have to explain anything.
Yeah, but you should. I should.
I told you, no need. It's not like I didn't have an idea or anything. When you think about it, it's really quite obvious. The way you've always looked at her said everything. Anyway, let's just end this conversation here, all right? I don't think it would do us both any good. This is going to get really awkward if we keep at it. When all has been said and done, at least I told you, right? Maybe I can finally let this whole thing go. Who knows?
Yeah, it's kind of better, but I feel really, really sorry for her, man. Like, Rebecca.
Thanks for hearing me out, though. I won't keep you long. I know you have things to do. Just promise me you won't do anything dumb, all right?
She doesn't wait for an answer. Instead, she flashes me one last strained smile before walking away, while the only thing I can do is watch her retreating back. In that one moment, one conversation, something also breaks between us. Something irreparable. A different kind of regret, haunting me amidst the silence of my car as I drive off and leave it all behind. Oh man, that was crazy, but it was gonna come someday or the other, because yeah, it's just that, oh man. It's really difficult, I will say, the situation that we I mean both of us, I will say, for not just for him, not just for Rebecca, both of them. It's just like, oh man. But I hope it went all good. I hope there's no malice in that situation that happened, because we don't know her side of the things. But as far as I have played her arc and everything, I think she knew it all along. She tried her best, and she finally got the answer for it, and finally got to know the truth about whether he loves her or not. So yeah, oof, that was something crazy. So yeah, within 10 minutes I'm driving out of Fluxburn and heading straight for Anselm village. Oh, crazy things, more crazy things are coming right up over here now. Okay, in the distance flashes of lightning light up the horizon, white and sharp against the black curtain of the night. Thunder threatens with a rumble seconds later, echoing long across the sky. And with one last roar, the skies open in earnest. November 1. Oh my god. And look at that. We are at the mansion now. And the mansion looks exactly like the time where, the game started off. Wow. The rainfall in fast, steady sheets, creating shallow puddles on the dirt path, drenching everything the eyes can reach. Despite having grown up in the city, I still despised the rain. Living here doesn't mean I have to like it. Lucky me, I have reached the mansion before the downpour has turned torrential. The long slog from Anselm village by foot has already been made difficult by the light drizzle and biting winds buffeting against my body every few seconds. By the time I found cover under the trees lining the vicinity of the mansion, my shoulders are already drenched. I wonder what type of a situation Luke is in right now. My hair's also sticking against my skin and out in every possible direction. Thankfully, the letter, taser, and gun I've brought with me has remained relatively dry. That's the most important thing. However, those are the least of my problems at the moment. Sometime after the housewarming party's comeback right has suddenly grown a brain and tightened the security around the mansion. Yep. A guard is now stationed in every possible point of entry, the main entryway, the back door leading to the kitchens. It's almost a miracle no one has spotted me once I entered the property, although that's probably because I've kept close to the forest. While I can always create a clever way in for myself under this deluge, it will be difficult to do so without making much noise or leaving tracks.
I don't really have the luxury either, do I?
Considering how off this place feels since I've stepped in the property and the mansion came into view, it definitely looks like rotten. Like the time, as I said, we first came into this game, every light is off. Even with the security personnel on patrol outside the whole house itself, it feels empty, eerie, too quiet, yep. And we know why. Normally, I will pass it off as some kind of a power outage because of the storm. It's not a far off conclusion when this place is almost in the middle of nowhere. However, something just feels wrong.
Something happened here.
Yup. Or about to. No, happen. And let's see we will find that out or not. Because we have no clue what happened with the body of Hannah. And we have no clue what happened with Marianne too. Because if you have not forgotten about her, yeah, she's also in the mansion for the past... How many days has it been? Alright, so she got trapped in that mansion on Friday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday. We are on Tuesday right now. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4 days of the week in that mansion. Oh, and in that prison cell. That is crazy. I want to see how she is in though. It's the sole reason why I haven't done anything yet. Simply observing, watching, listening for anything. I might be pressed for some time, but I'm not a careless idiot. Although I need a way in, desperately so, moving without thinking will not only endanger me. So many unknown variables and what we are dealing with, I also have to act on the assumption that someone is always in danger, especially in this place. I can't act impetuously. As much as I hate Wright, I'm not about to cause his death because of one thoughtless action. Oh, his death would... Let's see, if he has gone crazy, then his death would be just alright. I mean, still considering how he has done stuff, that's why I will say alright. If there's a place he deserves to be at, It's in a prison, not a morgue. Let's see. Yeah. So when a hoarse, painful sob suddenly rings out above the loud pitter-patter of rain, only then do I steer. A woman, perhaps a servant, or worse, Hannah Wright. It's coming from the forest, just right up ahead. In fact, not too far from the house. Regardless, I give the place a quick, wary glance before following the noise, carefully keeping to the shadows, one cautious step after another. Louder and louder it goes as I near, until it abruptly turns into a loud, desperate, anguished cry. I break into a run, one nervous hand ready on the gun, holstered at my hip, and the other raised for balance as I scurry across the dense understory. Dead leaves crunch under my shoes, but I paid no mind. There's only the voice, the woman, and nothing. Abruptly it all stops, and I am met with a sudden hush. Blank. Empty. Almost deafening in its stillness. Even with my labored breathing and pounding heartbeats against my ears, behind me another branch breaks and...
Help me.
Dread surges within me while I spin around and take a hard step back, ignoring the chilly pinpricks crawling at the back of my neck. And before I can even meet her eyes, the world unexpectedly pitches sideways, tilting and tilting till the ground beneath me finally crumbles. My hands fight for purchase, only to meet air. By then it's too late. My foot slips further and the rest of my body follows. Dark spots blur the edges of my vision. Black tendrils twist and coil around my limbs. Soft footfalls echo from the far distance, scurrying, scampering, moving in an odd rhythm with the sharp, piercing notes of laughter. But more than that are the voices lacing venom inside every crevice in my head. Murmurs that jeer, scoff, and deride. Over. It's because you didn't listen. And over. It's all your fault. And over again. I want you to believe me. A reminder what I failed to do and who I failed. But I'm trying to desperately fix. A scream threatens to burst, but my throat closes off. Ever so slowly, a chill seeps into every nerve in my body, washing away every sensation in me, apart from one. There is only fear. Once again, her laughter echoes, a sound both bitter and unforgiving. It is the last thing I hear before she reaches for me. The ground trembles. The world slows to a stop. So I thought something like this, and we are on the underground mansion, the secret part of this area. Yeah, let's see if we can find Marianne finally or not. Half darkness greets me when my eyes finally open, the soft patter of dripping water somewhere spurring my consciousness further. For a few short moments I remain still, blinking away the dizziness, allowing my vision to adjust to the lack of light and my breathing to even out before pushing myself up on one arm and attempting to stand. Turning alone is a struggle on its own. An inch of movement sends a stab of sharp pain, right up my arms and my back, giving me another pass.
Shit. I hope I didn't break anything.
Doesn't seem to be any injury or major fracture, although the whole of my back does feel sore and raw. Probably from when I've skilled down prior to landing myself here. A comforting thought. The second attempt comes easier later, though no less painful. And by the time I'm back on my bugger, and by the time I'm back on my feet, the exertion has left me gasping in short, shallow breaths and leaning heavily on the wall nearest to me. Behind me, a light draft blows in from where I have fallen in, coming in short, sharp bursts into what's apparently an underground tunnel. Brings in the fresh, earthly smell of rain from the top side. Oh, I love the smell of rain, especially when it rains first time. The smell that comes is so good. I love it. Regardless, it fails to mask the old, musty scent of the place. A mixture of mold, mildew, dust, grease, and something distinctly foul. like that. More worrisome than the putrid festering smell, however, are the cells that line both sides of the tunnel. Under the dim light, I can barely make out what's inside on some of them, but I already have a few ideas, all of which I refuse to delve into at the moment. Knowing how long this mansion has stood, somehow, no matter how unexpected finding the existence of this place is, it isn't too surprising.
I wonder if Scumbag knows about this.
Probably. Mostly not. Because even Marianne did not know about it, so mostly I think not. So probably not, unless he's also the kind of person who takes a joy in inflicting this kind of suffering on others. I don't really think so. He's rotten to the core, but not that rotten. We'll probably balk at this, move out at the first opportunity and have it demolished. The very idea of what has occurred in this place years ago makes me real as well. I've known long ago places like this tend to hold secrets. Ooh, dark secrets. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Yep, tip of the iceberg. I fear what I may discover in the mansion itself and the tale behind that ladder. But fears inconsequential. As unpleasant as the sight of this is, this place might also be the only way for me to get inside unnoticed. Yep. Somehow the ghost helped you out, kinda. Or maybe not. Ghost wants you to come in and get killed. Maybe. Sighing and taking one last gulp of clean air, I push away from the wall and delve deeper into the passage.
Let's just hope it'll be smooth sailing from here on.
Turns out that alone is too much to ask for this early. No 20 paces into it, another sound abruptly rises above my footfalls, rebounding off the hollow walls and echoing inaudibly across the whole span of the tunnel before fading away just as swiftly as it rang. Is that Marianne? I pause nevertheless, straining my ears for more of it, while I gradually move my hand to my side, slow and steady, until the tips of my fingers brush off the gun's handle. Although cold against my skin, it's the closest thing I have to comfort at the moment. For a long minute, I wait, holding my breath, watching every form, edge and shadow at the corners of my vision for any movement. After a heartbeat and nothing, I allow the tension to ease out of me in the form of a long, slow exhale that reverberates around the whole passage.
Who's there?
Yes, it is! She's alive, wow. Perhaps it's because of what has happened earlier and how I've ended up here, or maybe it's because of my training. But in spite of the panic and fear in that voice, I don't immediately answer. Instead, I pull my gun free from its holster and wordlessly draw closer to where the voice rings out once again. Afraid, frantic, weak.
I'm asking you a question. Who's there?
It's only after I've released the safety do I answer, while continuing my approach in a careful, steady pace.
I think I should be the one asking you that. Who are you? Show yourself!
I can't. I'm stuck in here.
Well, a ghost will definitely not be saying that, or have a conversation like this, or be stuck anywhere. And as if to prove her point, she extends a hand from one of the cells ahead and waves. Then she pulls back, grips the iron bars, and rattles it lightly.
I can't get out. Can you help?
In 5 quick steps, I am standing in front of the cell, and sure enough, a woman's inside. I can't see it at all. The cell looks perfectly lit though. But slumped on the floor, holding the bars with a shaking hand, clinging to it as if it's the only thing keeping her upright. And not just any woman.
You? McLaughlin?
The same one I met at G's 5 days ago, smashed drunk and babbling her frustrations about her employers.
Holmes?
No, not McLaughlin or whatever. McCulloch. Marianne McCulloch, famous interior designer extraordinary. Not so extraordinary now, with how exhausted and feeble she looks, trapped in a jail cell of all things, yep. Her breathing's shallow and there's paleness to her complexion. Sunken eyes, cracked lips, dry skin, all signs pointing to starvation and dehydration, yep.
What? How long have you been stuck in here?
3 days? 4? I don't know.
I have no idea anymore.
4 days, yeah.
I just fell in and that woman... Whatever. Can you get me out of here? Please.
In a moment. But here, go feed yourself first before you fall over.
Oh, Young's energy bar, chocolate cereal. I fish out an energy bar from my pocket and hand it to her. She's lucky I always have one on my person. For sudden emergencies or extended stakeouts, a little sugar to keep me going. Like any starving person, she wastes no time making a grab for it, unwrapping it straight away and taking in whole mouthfuls of it. Relief washes over her face on the first bite alone, although she's going to need more than that if what she has said is true. But for the moment, it's enough to keep her alive. Good thing she seems to have the sense to prioritize survival over comfort if the puddle on the corner of the cell indicates anything. Without water, the human body can only survive 3 days. No food, and I will give it an average of 3 weeks. Though even then, it won't be a pretty experience. Like, that is crazy. Without water too. 3 days. This is like the 4th day, so if it would have been any later, it would have been game over for her, definitely. Granted, some have survived longer than that. She's still fortunate I found her when I did. Now to get her out. My puppy pins won't be of any use here, not like I need it. Unlike the ones we have at the precinct, a simple barrel hinge holds the gates to this cell together. Even without any special tools, I will be able to lift the door and free her. However, with how heavy it seems, I will need a lever of some sort to help.
What are you looking for?
Some wood, a 2x4 I guess, a plank or a pipe, anything I can use as a lever. Wait here.
The hallway, she's waiting there already, so the hallway yields nothing but dust, dirt, and a few rusted chains scattered about. While I may find something in some of the open cells, I'm reluctant to check or even step in, considering it may just trap you too. We can't have another person trapped in here, however, Makala ended up inside. Yeah.
Well, there's no...
My head snaps back to her. Makala extricates a wooden board from under the mess of hay and twine near her. Without prompting, she slips it through whatever little space there is in between the bars. It's sharp, but appears thick and sturdy enough for my intended purpose upon closer inspection.
Good enough.
I hope. I get to work at once, anchoring the other end of the plank at the base of the door and applying ample force on the other side. What am I fumbling on? It takes a bit of effort, no kidding about the heavy part. Still, a grunt, gasp, a creak. In a matter of minutes, with the help of little help from her on the other side, the door eventually lifts off its hinges. It falls on the ground with a loud, ugly, metallic thud, but the sound of it puts elation on Makala's face. She doesn't even ask for help. As soon as she can, she hastily crawls out of the prison she has accidentally found herself in. More than happy to get out of it, despite lacking the strength to stand firmly on her feet.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you so much. After the second day, I was so sure I was going to die in there. If you didn't show up, I don't even want to think about it.
How did you even end up here?
For a second, she appears hesitant, looking away and fumbling awkwardly with her fingers. Don't worry.
I was looking for someone.
A contemplative expression flickers in her eyes, something that's close to wistful, like when a person remembers a memory she's fond of. It doesn't last too long, but it still leaves me the expression that I've suddenly walked into something private. Something deeply personal for her. I'd rather not ask.
So this whole tunnel, at the end of it, it leads right inside the mansion?
The wine cellar.
Right into the kitchen then.
There's a door of some sorts. I don't know. I think I pulled or pressed something somewhere. I was in a hurry. And I'm not sure if it'll open from this side. Hell, this place wasn't even in the floor plans.
What do you mean?
Does that really matter now? We have to get out of here. People died in this place. Kids! Oh God! Kids! I could have shown you, but that thing won't turn back on anymore. It's like it only waited for me to see it before shutting down or something. How long has that thing even been in there? But those poor kids. All because of that thing.
Wait, hold on. What are you talking about right now?
The bloody letter! Ever since I've read that thing, since that day at the open house, she won't leave me. But it should be fine now, right? I broke it. I broke all of it. She shouldn't be able to do anything now.
Mikala, one at a time.
It's all that paper's fault. Oh, God. Oh, God.
She's freaking out good.
Dear Lord in St. Adelaide, bless those poor souls. We're not safe here. We need to leave. If we stay here any longer.
Mikalo!
Abruptly, she stops, looks back at me with wild, panic-stricken eyes. I've seen enough of it so many times this past few days, from my own friends even. To know she has seen things, the kind that will easily make any person go mad. And perhaps we slowly are. The longer this takes, the faster our descent into it becomes. I can't even tell which one's worse, death or this. Seems like no matter how we end up with, there will be something horrible waiting for us. I need to hurry.
Listen, I need to get inside this place, and you're more familiar with its layout. If you can help me.
What? No! Why would I go back? Are you sure you haven't gotten raving mad yet? An exit's right here.
And this business with the letter has to end at some point. Look, I know you're not very fond of Luke Wright.
Damn right I'm not. He can just go.
But are you really sure you want to leave him like this? And what about his wife?
It strikes a chord. She falters, grows quiet as the tension lifts from her and her shoulders slump. I do understand her issues with this. In fact, she doesn't have to go with me, only tell me enough info so I can figure it out on my own. She can always leave afterwards, be done with this whole damn mansion and later. The other end of this tunnel leads right into the forest. But I highly doubt if she will go there alone will get her out of this safely. Let's see. It will provide ample cover for her to be able to slip out of the property unnoticed. All the same, she still herself and squares her shoulders.
Just until the kitchens.
That's more than enough.
She nods, albeit weakly. Then, without another word, she gestures for me to follow, leading me further into the passage. Occasionally, she will stop, find purchase on the wall to catch her breath, but throughout the short walk, she asks for neither a break nor assistance. I suppose that's something we have in common. Eventually, we get to a dead end. Although before I can question her on it, she begins palming for something on the wall, tracing her fingers along withered edges of the bricks with a frown on her face.
It should be somewhere here, I think.
What the hell are you doing?
She merely holds up a hand begging for my silence and continues searching. Then, without a warning, a few minutes later, something clicks. A portion of the wall shifts ajar to reveal a glimpse of another room. Bottles lining the walls, liquor barrels for aging, the wine cellar indeed.
The ladder to the kitchen is on the far end of this room.
Surreal. This is all nothing but a surreal nightmare. But after everything, should this even surprise me? Ghosts, curses, and passages. I can't even bring myself to question the existence of this door anymore. I simply follow her to the undercroft without a single question, in spite of a number of them already swimming inside my head. As a kid, I used to crave for this kind of adventure. The stuff of mystery and detective novels, daring chases, interesting cases to solve, suspects to put behind bars, justice to serve. I was blinded, I admit. Now I simply want this to be over. We leave the door open in case there is a need for a quick exit, especially after she mentions it's only by chance she has been able to open the door last time. We can't waste time finding the switch again on the occasion something goes horribly wrong. There's bound to be. With me feeling this high-strung and tense, I'm not even sure why I thought it will be a good idea to enlist Mikhailov's help. Although she has been quite helpful so far, I can't shake off the horrible feeling something's going to happen to her if she stays with me. Even if I am her safest bet, if she wants to get out of this place alive.
You really believe that, don't you?
Did you say something?
Mikhailov pauses mid-step, turning to me confused.
I didn't.
You sure? I just heard.
Don't you think I'll be the first person who will know? Look, the ladder leading to the kitchen's up ahead. You might want to hurry. I just want to be done with this place.
See? You dragged another one.
This time I'm sure. There's really a voice. Well, voices. Despite the look of protest McCulloch shoots me, I find myself stopping and looking for it, searching the immediate surrounding for the familiar form of the woman. I don't even have to venture too far from where I'm standing. Just an arm's length away from me, mirror shards litter the floor. And right on the biggest fragment, they speak. Oh my god, they are all the faces of our friends, all singing the same mocking tune against my ears, letting it echo throughout the small undercroft. It's like, yeah, it is the woman, Zach, Rebecca, and Isabella. Murmurs and laughter, jeering, scoffing, deriding, lacing venom into every crevice in my head, taunting me.
You dragged another person into this, Ashton.
Into another one of your silly little problems.
All because you can't fix them on your own.
You really haven't changed, have you? Some hero you are.
Useless.
Pathetic.
You're wrong.
My mistake lies in this first instance I've answered. The very second denial has slipped from my mouth, their words have also seeped into my heart, allowing it to prod at and rouse my temper. Despite knowing they are merely doing this to goad me, each word, each syllable trickled into me, spurring the guilt I hope I have long buried.
Are we? Or is that simply what you've been telling yourself all this time?
Something to make yourself feel better, perhaps.
You're the one who took that letter off Isabella's hand that day. You're the one who opened it.
How does it feel, I wonder? To know you're responsible for all of this?
What do you think I'm doing? Why do you think I'm still trying to fix this?
Oh, but you can't. It's already too late. And you know that. You know all of this is futile.
Just face it, Ashton Frey. You're a failure, and they are the ones who have to pay for it.
A badge and a gun, and you still can't protect your own friends.
Can't even solve a case for an old man.
Can't even bring Luke right to justice.
Can't even keep his own family together.
No wonder they left you. Before you do the same thing to them.
Mom and Dad are better off without little old you, aren't they? It's a good thing they had the sense.
Pitiful, isn't it? Some detective you are. Some friend you are.
You might as well just throw that rank away. You're no use to people either way.
Shut it!
I hate this. I hate how this monster can easily get through to me. Every weakness, every insecurity it knows, to hear it said in my friend's voice, even more so. But what I hate about all of it is...
You know it's true, though.
All of it.
It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word, because you're already aware of it.
You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
But no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to say it anymore.
Shut it! Not a single word anymore!
In the end, your own incompetence will eventually lead to the deaths of everyone you care about.
It laughs, sharp and piercing, and its sound something in me snaps, a rage hastily unfurling red, filling my vision, and the next thing I know I'm raising a hand and something grabs my wrist, followed by a buzz as another voice breaks through the haze.
Don't listen to it!
The fog from my mind lifts. Yep, because she has went through this exact same thing. Every sound, every noise returns to me, flooding my every senses all at once. There is this deafening silence. Slowly I become aware of my surroundings. Bottles of wine, barrels of liquid, the faint old scent of death and decay somewhere, and a hand holding on to my wrist as if to keep me from hurting myself. In my hands a shot. Blood drips from wherein has cut my palm, trailing down my wrist until it disappears behind my sleeve. Not too deep, negligible even. There is pain, however, a different kind. an ache somewhere else that stems not from the wound but where every single word has hit. When I glance up at Makalak, she merely stares at me with wide, horrified eyes.
Don't listen to it! No matter what happens, don't do what it says! It's how it gets us.
My grip on the shard falters, but only after I nod and drop it entirely does she release her grip. Afterwards, she simply steps back and looks away. Hugging her arms closer to herself, she breathes a sigh, heavy. Perhaps weighted with her own guilt, what this monster might have used against her.
Come on, we're getting close.
She walks off without another comment, but there's worry in her as she gives the fragments one last glimpse. On the ground they lie, lifeless now. No more voices, no more insults, but even as I walk away, one whispered taunt continues to ring in my ears.
It's useless, Ashton Frey. You are going to die.
And you are going to die alone!
I hope not. Fear, one that has been long kept in the darkest place in my heart. One that a small part of me wishes for. Okay, so I guess this is a good place to end the episode right here. This episode was so good. So good. Things went from like crazy cat fight to really emotional touching moment to confession to crazy horror and reunion with Makalak, yeah, and now some really again quite crazy mind trick game going on over here, which was crazy. And yeah, so good. I loved today's episode, so hope you even did too. So if you did, please click that like button, subscribe for more awesome content, comment down below your thoughts, and I will see you guys next time. So goodbye and Shabakher.